Hello students, welcome to another video for this week. So this is not a normal example. So this one is a recreation of the homework, specifically homework 2 for week 5, the one that so many of you complained about. You'll see this is actually a very simple part if you know what to do. Okay, so um, for those of you who don't know, it's this part. So I'm not going to switch between NX and this constantly. I'm going to keep this on another screen. So if you want to follow along, I just suggest in general keeping the sketch in front of you so that you know where I'm getting the values I'm using. Okay, so first I'm going to chat about my philosophy when approaching this model because this is not the model that I created for the homework. This is one of your other lecturers. So there are a few main features. So first we have this side profile, okay? So which is made up of three distinct extrudes, okay? Um, but it's all the same from this side to the other side, ignoring cutouts and so on. Then we have this draft inside of this box over here, and then we have these cutouts at the top that go all the way through the part. You can see it goes through all the way from the top to the bottom. So that's going to be my strategy. I'm going to first create the side one, create three extrudes, then I'm going to add the cutouts, add the chamfers, and then add the draft. Okay, and that's okay. That also I also sort of now hinted at what I'm going to use. I'm going to use draft for this. Many of you had different ways of doing it. I'll chat about that a bit later. Okay, so let's get started. It's important your origin. Some of you are still not putting the origin in the correct position. Here you can see it should be at the front of the part in the middle. So some part should be symmetric around that. So yeah, that's important because when we're marking, the values that you add are dependent on this origin. Okay, so you also have two different ways that you can approach this part. You can create half and then mirror it. That's one way of doing it. The other way is creating the entire part at once. Since this is a very simple part, it won't benefit as much from mirroring as you would benefit from a more complex part. So I'm just going to create it as is. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to go quickly because this should be relatively easy to you at this point, and I'll go a bit slower at the important bits. Um, but you can also always play me on a slower speed or rewind. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the outer profile. Okay, so and I will also add, you will see in a moment, I'm not going to add the entire straight line. I'm going to add a section and then another section, and I'll discuss why a bit later. So first going to add this one, then this one, add my little arc over here. I don't want to add any constraints. I'm just going to make sure none of these lines show up that indicate constraints. So over there, then I'm going to go a little bit to the side, and go all the way and down, close that. Then I'm going to add another rectangle at the top over here, and then my little line over here. Okay, and finish that off with this 45 circle. Okay, so now this dimension should be 200. This one should be 100. This should be in line. And now, so the sketches should be easy for you by now. So I'm just motoring through this so that we can get to the actual 3D modeling. This is 65. This has a height of 20. And this has a height of 75. Okay, sketch is fully constrained, but we still need to add the box in the middle. So you can do this in two ways. You can do it by adding a rectangle, or you can use the offset tool. Important, if you want to use the offset tool, you can't have your lines extending past the other ones you want to use. So that's why I interrupted my lines over here so that if I can select this line and not this entire line. Okay, so I want to go to the inside. There we go, and it should be 10. That's correct. Okay, great. Now this is fully constrained and complete. So finish. So now we can start extruding. So I'm going to start with, so also believe extruding wasn't the problem for this, so I'm going to go through this quickly. I'm going to solve with the middle one so that I can unite my parts to the middle one. So extrude, I don't want to take the old part, so I'm going to say this one, symmetrical value, this should be 80, show result, apply. Okay, this one should be 120, also symmetrical, symmetric value, and should unite with this body, apply. This one, also symmetric, and that should be 20, and also united with that body. Okay, right. By the time you've done this, you're almost finished. So now I'm quickly going to add my chamfers. So some of you add a sketch and then cut the chamfers out that way. This is a much better way of doing it because if I can actually select that edge, there we go. If I want to change something down the line, I now don't need to go into a sketch and change that. I can just go into the chamfer and say, okay, this should be 20 now. And I've actually added multiple chamfers. What's going on? I'm just going to add the chamfer again. I think I accidentally clicked something while I was adding it the first time. So let's try that again, shall we? There we go. So now, also, if you make a mistake, you can just quickly add it again. So now, if I want to say, okay, this should be, let's say 15. There we go. Or 20. Back to 10. It's easy to just change it. You don't need to go and edit a sketch. Okay. So now I want to add my little cutouts over here. Here I will use the mirror tool because it just makes my life a bit easier. So I'm going to add a sketch. I'm going to hide my part so that I can select this plane. Then I'm going to put this back so that I can use it as a reference. I'm going to add my little profile. So over here, to add this, go down and connect to that. There we go. Free constraint with 3 dimensions. So I'm going to add this one. This should be 10 millimeters. This height should be 20. That's actually correct. But important, it's an auto dimension, so you have to explicitly state it. Just like this is 26.5, but I can still move the part and it will change. So you actually need to manually constrain it. So select this and then select this part because, so I'm now making it associated to this because it should be in the middle. So yeah. Okay, then I'm going to finish that and then extrude it through all. So now it goes all the way through the spot, and go the wrong way or the right way. It automatically wants to subtract it from this body. Okay, that's finished. Then I'm going to mirror it, take this extrude, mirror it around this plane. Okay, there we go. Now we just need to add this draft that all of you complained about and got wrong. Okay, some of you got it right, but the majority had it incorrect. So there are a few ways to do it. Some of you created a solid block and then cut it out by creating a sketch and then extruding it. That's a way to do it, but it's not the most efficient way to do it. So the easiest way to do it will be by using an extrude and then just drafting it. So I'm going to select this face and then I want to extrude it until the other side. So now you can use either until selected or until extended. So until selected is if you just have a simple extrude that's going straight and you go to a flat face, then this works fine. But if you want to use drafting or you want to go to a curved face, then you use until extended. Okay. So then I want to extend it until this face. And it's also uniting it to the spot. And now we want to draft. So for this, I'm going to use from section because this allows us to add multiple angles or to actually draft each side differently. Okay, so I'm going to say from section and say multiple. So now let's just make this 2. Say single. So yeah, then let's go to multiple. Okay, let's. I want to show you what it looks like if everything has a draft. So I'm just going to do this. There we go. So if it has an angle, so now everything's drafted in. But you see, that's not correct. You just want to draft the sides inwards. So I can go and say, okay, the first angle, that is this one from the side. This should be 10 degrees. So 10, and that one's drafted correctly. Now, draft from the top. I don't want it drafted there, so 0 degrees. Then it's drafted from this side. There should be 10 degrees. That's correct. There you go, you can see. And now the bottom one, I don't want to draft 0 degrees. And now that is finished. As easy as that. No extra sketches that you cut out from a thing, and now if that changes, you need to go and edit the sketch and so on. Just a simple draft in your extrude. You can also draft after the fact using the drafting feature over here, but if you can do it in one, if you can do it in one feature, then do it in one feature, and then you save yourself the hassle. So yeah, and that's the entire part. I hope you will be able to do this now, and good luck with the rest of your preparations for the final test. Yeah, enjoy that.